Hi View, this is Pastor Aaron, and I'm coming to you with my Fegenbush family because I want to talk to you about an announcement about a very significant time change that'll be taking place on Sunday mornings beginning January the 7th. But before I get to the what, I want to talk to you about the why, because I can already sense the angst that's being produced in every one of us. I want to come to you about what marks a truly healthy church. And I want to take you to Acts chapter 2, beginning verse number 42. It says specifically in the scriptures, and they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and the fellowship and to the breaking of bread and the prayers. One of the great marks of a healthy church is a healthy fellowship. And so I'm always examining, I'm always looking, man, are we being healthy within our fellowship? Well, I've noticed a trend over the past several years that I've kept my eye on, and it's only increasing. And I want to make a change. And that change is in the fellowship across the board of us as a church, because I've noticed some imbalance. And that imbalance has actually been created by ourselves in the strength of our community groups. And we have incredible community groups that are fantastic. But one of them has really grown significantly, and is our student ministry. Our student ministry has grown to such a way where you may not even be aware of this, but there's over 150 kids that join our student ministry on a Sunday morning, which that means that that's 150 kids attached to families within our church who've had to make a decision about which worship service they attend in order for their student to be a part of that ministry. That means they can only attend the first service versus the second service, which has created an imbalance within a church that's just not healthy. So I began to examine what are some ways that we can change that. Well, after a lot of talks with community group leaders and staff and ministry leaders, it's just come to the conclusion that we must change our service times and create one community group hour, because that enables us then to have balance in our worship services. So what does that look like on a Sunday morning? Well, it looks like our first service would start at 8:30 in the morning and go to 9:30. Our one community group hour would start at 9:45 and go to 10:45. And the second worship hour would start at 11 and go to 12. Obviously, there's some questions that have arisen already. First and foremost, do we have enough space for all of our community groups? Yes, we do. We've looked at it, we've examined it. Yes, not only do we have enough space for the now, but we have space to grow. And so some of us will have to make some changes to rooms, but we do have enough space. That also enables us to really solve one of our challenges with discipling our young people. You may not be aware of this, but there's actually a large group of our young people who only come to community group. They're not attending a worship service, which really disheartens me, because that means that we're not discipling them and what it means to join with the fellowship and worship with the fellowship. So, we have a responsibility to train our young people in what it looks like to worship the Lord so that they will be able to lead their families, not only in this generation, but for the generations to come. So that means that we've got to step aside and say, man, are we willing to make some sacrifices in order to come alongside of our young people to help them to know what it means to really know and follow Jesus? So that means that on January the 7th, we are going to change our service times to 8:30 to 9:30. Our one community group hour at 9:45 to 10:45, and then our second worship service at 11 to 12. Hy-Vee Espanol has already joined in with us. They're moving their service to 12:30. We have enough community group space to be able to make this happen. But the biggest issue is going to be our hearts. I'm a man of routine. I don't like to get out of my routine. I know that you love your routine. You don't like to get out of your routine. And change always brings conflict. Man, I've been reluctant about making this change because I do not want to create conflict. But I know that we must allow the Lord to examine our own hearts and say, Lord, am I willing to make a significant change in order to bless someone else? That's what it comes down to. And I'm asking you to join me in making this change. And through this change, there are some really positive things that are going to come out from this. First, it gives us an opportunity to not only worship on a Sunday morning and go to a community group, but also gives us an opportunity to serve. Do you realize that I have not had the opportunity to teach Discover Highview ever here at Highview? That's going to enable me to have the opportunity to actually teach Discover Highview. It's going to enable a lot of us to be able to serve where we have not been able to serve. It's going to present us an opportunity to really have a healthy fellowship here at Fegenbush. And I'm willing to make these changes. I hope you are. Let's join together in pursuing Jesus. And man, I'm telling you, God is going to do great things. Join me in pursuing Jesus.